All right. Um, I think we got a good chunk of folks on. I think we can go ahead and get started here. Appreciate everyone who's joining our Impact Academy series. We got a super exciting topic for you guys today. We've got Scott Zaylor and David Galasso here on, who are our product experts on the new platform health features that we've got coming out in the December 2025 release. So super excited to walk you guys through what we've got coming out in a couple months. I know there's been um, a lot of interest around this, so very, very excited to show you guys what we've got coming out on the truck shortly here. Before we get started, just a little bit of housekeeping. First, just our safe harbor notice. This presentation might contain some forward-looking statements that are based on the information available to us right now. So, at the highest level, we just suggest that you don't make any specific purchasing decisions based off of the information that you hear in this presentation. A little more housekeeping. Number one, we've got time saved for Q&A at the end. So you'll see a Q&A button at the bottom of the Zoom panel. So we please encourage you guys to use that to submit your questions instead of the chat. It's just a little bit easier for us to keep track of. And we'll do our best to answer your questions throughout the presentation. And of course, we can cover a few at the end as well during the time saved. Two, the presentation will be recorded and shared following the event on YouTube as well as our community. And after the event, you'll be prompted to fill out a short survey. So we appreciate your feedback in advance. It's super important for us to keep making sure that these events are, as helpful as possible for all of you. And lastly, again, I'm sure many of you guys have been attending our live on ServiceNow Impact Academies for many months now, if not longer. But for those of you who are new, you can scan this QR code here just to see the schedule, sign up for future events in the series. But again, really appreciate all of your guys' participation in this awesome series we've got. All right. So getting started, in terms of what we're going to cover today. So first, especially for those who might be joining for the first time, it's always helpful, I think, to ground folks in a little bit of an intro of what Impact is and what it can do for you. And then we'll kick it over to Scott and David to talk you guys through what's coming out in December in the Platform Health refresh and Impact. And then we've got a live demo for you as well right after that to show you guys exactly what you're getting and what it looks like. So again, let's just kind of ground ourselves first in, what Impact is, why it was created, and what it can do for you. So at the highest level, and again, I think most of the folks on this call, I think, are very familiar with what's on this slide, but as organizations like yourselves are, transforming their businesses, a lot of times you find that, folks are slowed down by technical debt as well as a lack of expertise. And you can see on the right-hand side there, 82% of CIOs are planning to increase AI investment in the next year. But on the flip side, only 33% of CIOs say that they have the talent and skills needed to execute on this. And in addition, Oliver Wyman, I think, projects that there's going to be 6 trillion in growth in global technical debt over the last decade. So uh, there's huge demand for new technology, but there's a skills gap as well as kind of a legacy gap in technical debt. And in addition to that, right, I think these are the four big business transformation challenges that we generally find that, customers like yourselves are struggling with, right? So once again, slow time to value just takes too long to implement AI or new technology, and it ends up being difficult to actually measure the ROI that you're getting out of this. Two, again, is just the lack of expertise, right? Um, Folks need guidance to achieve their long-term business goals, but a lot of times there's not enough internal resourcing and expertise to make this happen. Um, Third is technical debt. So kind of a lack of governance over time leads to workarounds, manual setup, extra maintenance, and ultimately this just builds up over time and companies end up being forced to choose between net new innovation and maintaining legacy stuff. And the last one I think is, fairly self-explanatory for all of you. Like technology is so mission critical now to all of our business operations that if there's any downtime or performance degradation, it really risks business continuity. So ServiceNow Impact was designed specifically to solve those business challenges for you. It's a combination both of AI, digital features, and human-led expertise that will help you accelerate adoption and value. Again, get access to expertise right on demand. Help you optimize your platform performance, which again we'll talk more about today with Scott and David, and enhance your business continuity and maximize productivity and uptime. And on the right-hand side, you can see, some of those outcomes for customers just like yourselves, whether it's a 50% reduction in P1 support cases, being able to maintain, almost 100% out-of-the-box capability, or just being able to upgrade your platform faster, right? These are all things that implementing impact and kind of getting value out of it can help you achieve. So, what do you actually get as part of impact? So, I think there's four big pillars. One is around value and adoption, right? So, what does that actually mean? Number one, helps you understand what you've bought, helps you understand if you're using what you've bought, and also helps you understand what the actual ROI that you're getting out of what you've purchased from ServiceNow, right? And can be especially helpful a lot of times if leadership is asking, "Hey, what are we getting out of this? What's the return on investment?" We help you make this kind of case to your leadership. The second big pillar is on expertise and guidance, right? Pretty simple. It's, hey, who do you ask for help, right? With Impact, you get access to people or a person who you can ask for help for all of your ServiceNow related questions. Third big bucket is around health and observability, right? So it helps tell you, number one, is your platform healthy? Uh, Number two, if it's not healthy, what can you do to make it healthier? And number three, helps you understand what's happening with your instance right now, right? We give you access to real-time observability features that give you kind of exact to-the-minute uptime, downtime information about what's going on your platform. And the last big pillar is premium support, right? So when something's broken, how do you fix it? We're there for you, 24 by 7 to help get your system back up and running if something is broken. And to make this a little bit real in terms of, what kind of numbers do a lot of our customers see? So there's two really big buckets of benefits that we typically see customers get out of Impact. One is faster time to value, right? So typically, 20% plus faster time to value for new applications. So you get set up faster. And, more value from what you've already bought as well, right? So you've implement what you bought faster. And once you've implemented it, you can get value and ROI out of that faster as well. And the second big bucket is higher productivity, right? Your end users are more productive. Your actual kind of platform owners, operations staff are more productive. So kind of helps you get the most out of ServiceNow, both from a initial upfront value perspective and just making yourself and your team more productive over time. And the bottom there, you can see, what leaders like yourselves at customers like yourselves are saying about the benefits that they're getting out of Impact. So with that, I will hand it over to Scott to dive into the platform health part of our presentation here.
Yeah, thanks, Harsha. So again, I'm Scott Zaylor, Senior Director with Impact Product. I came over with the Bravium acquisition back in May, and along with David here, that's going to run our demo in a second. And so with that acquisition, we're very excited to be replatforming the Best Practice Engine app into the Impact Store app. And so we're going for parity with what was available in Best Practice Engine. We want to now be available to Impact customers. And so when we think about the capabilities and the functionality that we have that are coming in, we put it into these four main pillars here: diagnostic scans, prevention and resolution, reporting, and then integrations and AI. And so if we start off with diagnostic scans, this is very powerful scanning that's going to be available in your instance. When you first install the app, we'll do a full scan of your instance. And then subsequent scans will be nightly scans of what's changed. And so these are point scans that can be run in addition to also update set scans and on-demand and even application scans. So a lot of different methods that you can call our scans to support you, and they'll be executing against our library of definitions. You'll also have the ability to write custom definitions. So those are the checks that we're actually doing. You can write custom definitions, or you can just use our out-of-the-box definitions. Now, second is prevention and resolution. Really, our calling card from Best Practice Engine was the real-time prevention. So this is where, and again, David will show this in a minute, but this is where real-time on the screen, when a developer is making code changes, we will scan what's been changed or updated and provide feedback on the screen. We'll tell you what the issue is, where it occurred, how to fix it, how important it is to fix. A lot of great guidance as the developers in the context of making changes. So very proactive and early in the life cycle rather than waiting, further down in QA or God forbid production, right? Uh, we've got a lot of exciting other features coming here, such as exception approvals, where a developer may need to violate a best practice or violate a definition, but they still need to move forward, and so they can log an exception for their lead to approve or review. We mentioned the enhanced resolution guidance, but there's also we also have integration into some of the other great functionality that ServiceNow has, like App Engine Management Center, App Engine Studio. You'll be able to scan there as well. Moving on to reporting, we have some awesome role-based dashboard reports that you'll be able to, depending on where you sit in the organization, we've got data and metrics that are relevant for you, and this includes not just KPIs but also trend reports, and they're interactive. They allow you to get into the data behind it, the results from those findings from those scans that we do on a nightly basis. You'll be able to dig in and understand how your team, how your platform is doing, or teams, I should say, are doing. And you'll also get great insights into the costs and time savings. We do a lot of measurement by time, and so you can also configure a development rate, which will give you some cost information as well. And then we're also rolling out a new health score, how we used to calculate health from Best Practice Engine, that will now be available in the analytics dashboards as well. Lastly, we've got integrations. And so if there is a particular finding that you want, or a group of findings that you want to assign to a team, you can map whether you're using Jira, Azure DevOps, or ServiceNow internally. You can create those user stories from the findings and assign the work that way. There's also a few multi-instance use cases, whether those exception approvals, like I mentioned earlier, if you want those may be logged in your dev environment. So a dev may be creating them in the dev environment, but you actually want them improved in prod. We've got APIs that you can set up to connect the instances for those scenarios. And then lastly, sort of the cherry on top, this was something we were working on at Bravium, but we are bringing forward a codefix AI agent, which will read our definitions, read the findings from the scan engine on the screen, and provide you an experience with an agent. It will show what the fixed code should be in a differential window, and you can choose to accept, reject, or refine that feedback. And so very, very powerful AI feature as well. So with that, I will turn it over to David that will walk us through some of this functionality.
Awesome. Thanks, Scott. So I'm David Galasso. As Scott said, I also came over with the acquisition. So super excited to be in the impact side of the house now, ready to demo off what amazing capabilities have been developed for the Impacts platform health capability. So I'm just going to be showcasing how these capabilities can make developers aware and actually prevent them from introducing technical debt into the instance in real time. Additionally, we're going to review the findings and show how admins, development leads, Team leads and business resources can actually analyze and form remediation plans, along with reviewing the diagnostic dashboard reporting to show off some key metrics and insights. But the first capability that we want to show off is the real-time messaging and prevention here. So in this specific example, I am a developer trying to create an on-change client script, and hidden below in this script block of code is some known best practice findings, some violations of our definitions here, which I will try to introduce into the system and create this record here. As you can see, as soon as I attempt to save this record, the Impact app comes in and prevents that with several messages here. So you can see this message, this record has not been created. We still have that submit UI action in the top right. So once a developer or anyone attempts to save, the scan engine comes in and automatically scans this record against our library of best practice definitions to find any violating code. These messages, they come in four different levels of rule: act, recommend, suggest, and review. Each of these messages has their own behavior for how they're going to interact within your instance, but they're all formatted the same way. So you get the level of rule in bold, along with a link out to the definition itself and a short description of what this definition is looking for here, giving us the subject of our discovery. You're also going to get the details showing you exactly where on the form the technical debt is existing. You also get the steps to resolve the issue and your supporting documentation, which is giving me, the developer, all the context necessary to actually resolve this technical debt from within this record here. And then we also get you your impact on the other side, acting as a priority for these findings. So going through these messages one at a time, I'm just going to explain the differences between our levels of rule here. I'm going to start with the most severe type of finding, which is the act. So acts must be resolved in order for you to save your development work. Most of the time, they're related to security and performance. In this example specifically, it's calling out that scripts should not use the eval function. If this isn't configured correctly, this could actually lead to an injection attack and cause some very serious issues for your instance. So as you can see, what could go easily undetected in a manual code review is put on the spotlight, and thankfully I have impact. So it makes my discovery as a developer take less than a couple seconds. I know exactly what to look for and exactly where on the form it exists. I also know, according to the steps to resolve in the supporting documentation, to replace this with the glide evaluator. And when I do this, if I can type, and I now go to save the record, you can see that that act message drops off the list. So we resolved that message, but I still have not been allowed to create this record. We still only see the submit UI action in the top right corner. And that's going to lead us to our next level of rule, recommend. So this is still a very serious infraction on your instance, but there's a little bit more leeway with them in the form of exceptions. So with an act level finding, you must resolve that finding before you can save your work and move on. With recommend, you can either resolve them or submit an exception to temporarily bypass the definition here. So you may want to create an exception reason for testing purposes, or perhaps this is an allowable occurrence of this technical debt here. Whatever the reason is, you want to be as specific as possible when filling out the exception reason, as this is sent to an approver or approval group who you configure in your scan engine properties page. So this specific check is looking for is loading. I would just say do not check for is loading, and then I would put my justification here and request approval. Now, once I submit the exception, you can see that this message has turned from red to blue. The state is requested, and now when I save the record, it is going to create this record and persist the changes to the system. But we're still going to see some more messages pop up here, and that's going to bring us to our next level of rule, suggest. So these operate more like informational messages. They won't actually stop a developer from saving, but they do provide recommendations for cleaner code. So they are ultimately still considered technical debt. But the last level of rule that we have is called review, and it's different from all of the others in the sense that it doesn't actually contribute towards your technical debt metric. It's instead simply calling out some configurations or items for an admin's awareness, but we don't consider them serious enough to add to the technical debt metric, so we don't report on them in the dashboards by default, but we have additional configurations for you to enable this reporting if you would so like. Additionally, all of these rules that come out of the box can be overridden by your organization, and you can adjust any of the field values to be more to representative of your development philosophies. So if we have certain rules that will block you, you can change them to not block you. The same, other side of that coin, if they're not blocking you, but you think they're serious enough that you want a zero tolerance for them, you can certainly adjust that. Additionally, the ability to create custom definitions allows your organization to automate this technical governance in real time at this level of granularity. So the prevention being caught in real time like this will circumvent that need for a lengthy manual code review process. Additionally, this is acting as a training aid for all of my future development. As I see these messages pop up, I will learn from them, adjust my habits, and become a better coder in the process. So this is how impact prevents future technical debt. Now we're going to review the scheduled scanning capability, which is how we look to the past development. So platform health admins can configure platform health to automatically scan their instance for findings present within our organization's existing ServiceNow landscape. These scans can be scheduled to run on a nightly, weekly, or monthly cadence, and you can manage this from the platform health configuration page. The first scan will be conducted as a full scan and establish a complete baseline for your instance, capturing all current findings. Then every scan run after that is run as a delta scan, focusing only on changes that have been made since that previous scan. This makes the process efficient and also incremental. After each scan completes, a scan result record like this will be generated. As a platform health admin, I can navigate to this record and view raw metrics on technical debt broken down across multiple dimensions. This will include both newly identified issues and those that have been resolved since that last scan. Then each finding record is actually stored in the backend as well and includes additional details regarding what definition was violated here, what is the subject of our discovery. You also get the pop-up functionality, so I can jump directly into this definition record and get as much context as necessary as to what was actually violated here. Down below in the scanned object tab, this is where you're made aware of where this technical debt actually exists within your instance. The scanned scope field here makes you aware of the application that this technical debt is in. The scan table makes you aware of the type of object. And then we also give you the scanned record field with the pop-up functionality to jump directly into the source record where this violation or this finding exists. Pair that with the information you receive on the resolution tab, you're again getting your steps to resolve and that supporting documentation linked out. So I can go very quickly from discovering what went wrong to actually resolving this technical debt, all from within this finding record here. Additionally, if you have your integrations set up with those agile process boards such as Jira, Azure DevOps, or also just our internal tables within ServiceNow here with SPM or Agile 2.0, this allows process owners to convert these finding records directly into work items and assign them to the right teams, track the resolution progress, which will ensure technical debt is actively managed and not forgotten. So now that we've seen how these scans identify and store the findings, let's take a look at how that data is visualized and made actionable through the dashboards here. So executives are, well, these diagnostic dashboards, they offer powerful role-based lenses into your platform's health. Each dashboard here is tied to a specific role, meaning users only see the views relevant to their responsibilities. So executives are more so looking for high-level trends. So they can see the overall outstanding technical debt that's contained within their instance here. They can report out on this in a cost or a time basis. Each definition has an estimated time to resolve associated, and you define your average development rate as well as your workday hours. And we multiply all of that together to give you a dollar amount, and we can also show it in that estimated time to resolve. Just from a development standpoint, how long would it take if we only focused on these, technical debt findings? How long would it take to actually resolve this? Again, we don't only report on this in a negative light, we report on the positive as well. So, like an ROI, this is the technical debt prevented when I was demonstrating the real-time messages there. Every time that a developer is blocked, that is logged in a table, and we can tell you how much cost savings have been prevented just from those messages there stopping what would have been introduced to the system, switching you from reactive to proactive governance there. You'll also get a health score scanning your instance against our entire library of definitions to show you how your instance is doing. We report out, we have a codefix AI agent that will show off a screenshot a little bit later. And we report on all of the findings that you'll resolve with that, along with showing you just the different categories of your instance. Where's the concentration of these findings here? Again, we don't just report out on it at a one specific metric level. We show it in a trend chart, historical context over time. How is your instance doing? If you have additional instances configured in the API integrations, you can compare against those instances as well. So other roles that are able to have a persona-based view, we have platform owners, team leads, and actually an individual developer will actually get their own personalized view showing their technical debt, their exceptions if they need to, bug an approver that they're not getting an approval decision for, or just being able to monitor how they've been doing over time. All of these dashboards are also actionable. So as a platform owner, if I don't know where to begin with my 748 outstanding findings, I can look at the highest impact to instance that I have and click on this bar chart here. It will bring me to a pre-filtered list of all of the impact to instance here. Then I can prioritize the most important ones of these to me and act on them as a starting point, sort of giving you that priority of where to tackle these, as it could be a little overwhelming. Then down below, these trend charts, they report on teams of teams. As a platform owner, I can see how all of the teams within my instance are doing, drill down on team specific trends and see, which teams are accumulating technical debt or actually resolving these findings, and then take action by assigning these findings out to those agile work streams and ensure accountability and progress at scale. And just to show the developer dashboard here, this is that personalized my open findings, but they still get the same actionable effects from this where they can jump directly into these records and work on their technical debt. So now I'm going to switch back to the PowerPoint view so that we can show off this screenshot we have of the AI code fix agent that's currently under development. And I'm going to pass it back off to Scott to speak to that.
One second, let me just pull the screen back up. All
Great.
right, go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, thank you, Harsha. So this is showing again that client script similar to what David showed earlier, simulating writing new code or updating existing code. He went to save, and there are some violations or issues findings at the top of the screen there. Now you see that button to the right, to the top right, that says Fix with Now Assist. You'll have the option to click that, and along with that, will open the Now Assist panel to the right, and it will create an interaction with the LLM. It will send what the findings were for this script to the LLM, along with where they occurred. The LLM will read that and determine what the appropriate fix should be, and then provide it back to you in the Now Assist panel. and then also provide you that diff window at the bottom where the script is with both the old in red and the new in green. And so you can see what the changes are based on what the agent is recommending. Now you'll have like I said a little bit earlier, you'll have the option to interact with this and choose to whether you want to accept it as it is, or if you want to refine the findings, or if you want to just reject it and skip it altogether. You'll have those options. But this should, hopefully get you to resolution and resolving that technical debt, remediating that technical debt much quicker. That's really the intent here. And so we feel like it's going to provide a very valuable experience to you. So all the functionality that we covered today, um, with the new updates coming to the store app, will be available December 4th. There'll be I've seen there's a lot of questions in the Q&A. This all comes from the Impact Store app. We're showing a screenshot of it there. It will be available to your instances as an Impact customer. You'll have to go to the store to download it. Um, We've got the supported releases there, Yokohama Patch 8, Zurich Patch 2, and there will be associated documentation on the docs website that will come in to support you in your installation as well. But we recommend that you start looking at the app. If you have any internal processes that you need to get through before you can download the app, please do that. But all this scanning functionality is per instance, and so you want to download the app per each instance that you have. We do recommend you download it and install it all the way up through production. There are clone preservers on the tables so that if you do clone downs, you'll preserve your data. It's very important that way. And there will be more information like that to come in the docs.
Awesome. Um, Thank you, Scott. Thank you, David. I think we can open up the floor here for questions. Please drop them in the Q&A box. Um, I think I see a few here. Before we get to some of these, I think there was a couple of questions that we got a bunch of times from folks. I just want to cover them live since I'm sure a lot of you others might have the same one in your mind. So, one, I think to what Scott just said, the way that you're going to be able to access these new platform health features starting December 4th will be as part of the Impact Store app. Looked like a lot of folks had questions around, how do they know if they have access to it? So if you're a paid Impact customer, all of you guys are going to be able to download and install the Impact Store app for no added cost. It's included in your plan. Um, and once again, these platform health features are included as part of the Impact Store app. There are some nuances in terms of features available between packages if you're a guided customer or a total customer. Um, and there's a link in our community that talks through some of the differences as well. So I will put that link right in the chat. So hopefully that is helpful for folks. I think there was a question here. I think I see David, you're typing an answer, but we can also answer them live.
Okay.
Um, how will platform health work for a customer? This one's from Martin Lessard. Work for a customer who already has similar apps installed in their instance, like guardrails. Um, are you guys familiar with this app guardrails, or do we need a little more
Yes.
context there?
We're familiar with the application guardrails. So it's not going to work hand in hand with them. It's a separate scanner entirely. You can certainly use your existing platform health applications that you're using, like to get a baseline of how the new application is doing, sort of to reference, are we getting close? Is this consistent with what we've been doing in the past? And as you work towards the new normal, you can create custom rules if you see a lack in some one area, but this will not work hand in hand with your guardrails application or anything like that. It is completely separate.
Cool. Thank you, David. Um, I think Jose had a question. Is this Impact app using the same scan checks we already have defined?
So that depends on where you have them defined, but I'm guessing not because this Impact app is using the same scan checks that came over from the acquisition. So the library that was included with the best practice engine application, that contains about 400 definitions that are coming over. Approximately 50% of them were overlapping with health scan definitions and instant scan definitions. So there is some overlap there. But if that's where you have your checks defined, then no, they are not coming over. Like any custom checks that you've made in Instant Scan will not be migrating over there.
Thank you. Looks like Chin had a question around what's the version of the Impact Store app. So I don't have the exact version number we're on off the top of my head. That said, we are continually releasing new improvements to the store app that we first released earlier this year in Yokohama. So in terms of quarterly releases, the Q4 December store release will be our fourth kind of large quarterly release with a big chunk of new features and improvements. Um, is it a paid license or free out of the box? So once again, right, the features that we just demoed for you today are part of the Impact Store application. So if you are a paid Impact customer, meaning you're on a guided advanced or total plan, um, you will be able to have access to the Impact Store app and, you know, by extension, the features that were demoed here. Once again, there's some nuances between the packages, which you can see in that community link that I posted in the chat. Um, David, so it looks like we got a question here from Mark. The question is, what module are the library of definitions that the code scan respects in?
So the module of ServiceNow does not exist currently because we're replatforming. It was a scoped app. If you have the best practice engine, it's contained in a module in that application. But right now, it does not exist in the system until the store release. Once you download the Impact Store app after the December release, they will be housed in a module contained underneath the Impact. It'll be called Platform Health. Underneath that, it'll be definitions.
Awesome. And then we got a question here from Jeff. So, what instance version will this be in? So, Jeff, I believe if you're asking what kind of release version you have to be on, so it's on this slide here, you got to at least be on Yokohama patch 8 or Zurich patch 2. And then once December 4th rolls around, you'll have to download the latest version or update to the latest version of the Impact Store app. All right. And then Gate, looks like you have a question around where you'll be able to find a recording of the session. So these sessions are all recorded and posted on our YouTube channel as well as on our community. I'll actually put a link in the chat that uh, has the links to our past community webinars. But that same link will be posted to this community post as well. But if you follow our YouTube channel, you can also look there as well.
Then I see a question from Jeff regarding what instances to install this in. That's a great question, Jeff. So to get your historical baseline, of technical debt, that's really when you're going to be wanting to scan in production because your development instance is going to get cloned over a lot, so you won't have good historical context to go off of there. So your production is going to be that historical baseline. But we very much recommend installing this in your development instance because that's where you take advantage of the proactive real-time scanning prevention capability there. So all of your development is mainly going to be in those lower instances, and that's where you want to catch this technical debt early so that it's not promoted up the stack. And then once it's promoted up the stack, then it's already, once it's in production, it's too late to be proactive at that point. Now you're just working in story points for a future release. So that's why we very much recommend installing it across the stack.
Awesome. Thank you, David. That's all the questions that I see in the chat for now, in the sorry Q&A box for now. Folks, I mean, we still have 15 minutes. So please feel free to drop in any questions. Um, Here we go. We've got Satish asking, is there a concept of a score that gives an idea about compliance with best practice?
Yes. There
Yes. Yep.
there is a health score in our dashboards. It's not broken out down across different categories, but it is for your entire instance.
Thanks, David. Hopefully, Satish, that made sense. I thought I saw someone had their hand raised. If you'd be able to drop your question in the chat, that would be super helpful, and we're more than happy to answer it. Um, so give folks a few more minutes here. Once again, we've got Scott and David here, our platform health product experts. So please feel free to ask any questions about this that comes to mind. And yeah, once again, circle your calendars for December 4th. It'll be uh, the day of our December store release, where all of this will be made available to you via the Impact Store app. All right. So I don't see any questions in the chat or coming further in the Q&A. I think we can wrap things up here and give folks a little bit of time back. Once again, really appreciate all the folks turning out. I think we had, oh, here we go. We got Jose asking a question here. Is there a beta version? So the answer is no, there's no beta version. But again, starting December 4th, it'll be made available to you in the Impact Store app. But yeah, again, guys, really appreciate you guys joining as always. These events would not be possible without the participation of all of you. So appreciate your guys' participation, all the feedback you guys provide. Um, and yeah, looking forward to December 4th. And hopefully you guys get as much value out of these new platform health features as we hope you do. So
Thanks, everyone.
thank
Thank
you
you,
guys.
everyone.